Going to the gym can be discouraging, especially if you're putting in the work but barely seeing changes. But with Tonal, you can actually see your progress with every workout. Tonal provides the convenience of a full gym and the expertise of a personal trainer anytime at home with one sleek system. Designed to reduce your mental load, Tonal is the ultimate strength training system, helping you focus less on workout planning and more on getting results. No more second-guessing your technique. Tonal gives you real-time coaching cues to dial in your form and help you lift safely and effectively. After a quick assessment, Tonal sets the optimal weight for every move and adjusts in 1 pound increments as you get stronger, so you're always challenged. Tonal lets you choose from a variety of expert-led workouts, from strength to aero hit to yoga and mobility, to keep you coming back for more. For a limited time, go to Tonal.com to get $500 off your Tonal purchase, plus a free 4-year warranty. That's Tonal.com for $500 off, plus a free 4-year warranty. Tonal.com.
Hey, everybody.
Tough bumps we take, we rise again. Blood and grit, it's how we begin. Matt and Aaron fire up the flame. Wrestling lives on the Tough Bumps name.
Here we are, episode 6 of Tough Bumps. My name is Matt Connerton, and of course, Eric Pilcher, my partner in crime in this particular venture. Hello, Eric.
Hello, Matt. How are you?
I'm good. How are you feeling? How are you doing?
Got a slight headache, but
Yeah.
joys of living in the Midwest in the summer.
Do you get sinus headaches? Because that's what I get. I get a lot of sinus headaches this time of year.
I am like the world's biggest baby. Like, I hate the heat altogether. Like, just absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
I would much rather it be like 30 degrees with snow than heat.
You and I are polar opposites on that, because I'm the complete opposite. I love when it's 90 degrees out, I'm a happy guy, and I hate the cold. I hate the cold.
I have a short fuse. But that fuse, if it's hot out, becomes non-existent.
Oh, really?
It is gone. Like, the littlest thing could set me off. Like a commercial coming on TV.
Oh, wow.
I could lose my mind.
Yeah, we're polar opposites that way too. I'm very chill.
I hate the heat, and it's muggy. It's like mid 80s right now. I'm in my apartment, and I'm. If I didn't have a dog, I wouldn't go outside today.
Yeah,
that's where we're at.
Wow. Okay.
I was out of waffles this morning, so I had to go to the store. And get
you had no choice. You had to get waffles. I understand.
I love waffles. Like, breakfast food and me are very weird. I go in spurts.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go through like a 2-3 week period where I just love cereal. Then it'll be 2-3 weeks where I love bagels. Then it'll be 2 to 3 weeks and I love like waffles or pancakes.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, we're on a waffle kick, especially since Hy-Vee has produced these new waffles, cinnamon waffles. It's just like eating cinnamon toast with maple syrup. Sugar-free, of course, but
I understand.
And cinnamon's a superfood, so
I did not know that. That is good to know.
It is.
That is very good to know. Well, so we have, of course, our main event this week will be our third and final installment of Bret Hart talking about his return to WWE when he came back and made nice with Shawn Michaels and all that. I mean, we talked about some of that last week, but then we realized we needed to do a part 3 of Bret the Hitman Hart. Of course, your all-time favorite, my second all-time favorite. He's a very close number 2 for me. But we also, so of course we have the undercard and we have a few things. And if you don't mind, Eric, and I sprung this on you at the last minute, we haven't discussed this at all. And I intentionally did not want to discuss it ahead of time either, because because I don't think we've ever really gotten into this specifically, not recently. And I want to get your unvarnished reaction, shall we say, to what I'm going to say about this, because I genuinely don't know what you think about this. But John Cena's current heel run, there is a lot of complaining online on many of the podcasts, like, Brian Alvarez complains. And I don't know if you probably don't like him, JD from NY. I know you don't like people with New York accents very much, as you shared once, but
I don't like New York in general.
I understand.
Place is a dump. I'm a Maine, Massachusetts. Even though I've only been there once, never in your neck of the woods. New Hampshire type of guy. I'm not a New York guy. I've been to New York one time, and I was at Times Station on a layover. I walked out, and the smog burned my eyes.
Oh my!
In the summer of '98.
Okay.
All I wanted to do was see Madison Square Garden. And I kid you not, I saw a mugging.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So, place is a dump. They haven't won a sports championship. Well, their women's basketball team won one last year, but until then, it was like 2009. They think they're this great city. They are the greatest at everything, and greatest at crime, yes. Greatest at smog, absolutely. Greatest at filth, no doubt. But other than that, I don't have much that they're good at. I haven't seen it. Certainly not running a weekly radio show or a weekly podcast like we do.
That's for sure. And that will bring us to another point, another subject in a moment. But
they could be, yes, I have it on good authority. They could be good at something, but continue with your.
So there's a lot of complaining online, various wrestling podcasters, people who do what we do, commentating on wrestling. And the general consensus, as I can tell, seems to be that John Cena's heel run is a failure. People are very dissatisfied with it. They don't think it's what it could have been. All of this. And the reason part of why I wanted to talk about this for a moment and to also get your thoughts is I've been really enjoying it. Could it be better? Yeah. Just from a storyline perspective, I would tweak a couple of things, but overall, I think it's pretty awesome. And I've been really enjoying it. And part of what I think people are dissatisfied with that I'm actually enjoying about it is he's kind of underplaying it a little bit. Like I heard Brian Alvarez say he talks like a robot. But I like the way he's kind of underplaying it. And a great example of this, by the way, Saturday night's main event, his backstage interaction with Jey Uso, the way Cena just very calmly says to him, if I retire as champion and you lose your title, your belt ends up around the waist of a YouTuber, that could almost ruin wrestling. And the way he delivers the line, I just thought it was great. And so I'm really enjoying John Cena's heel turn. And I'm surprised at how many people are complaining about it and actually calling it a failure. And I'm really curious what you think.
Yeah, one, numbers don't lie. Numbers are empirical. They're doing good money-wise. They're doing good ratings-wise.
Oh, yeah. Better than good.
I don't want to even sit here and entertain this idea that this is a failure. They merchandise for every last appearance. He has a new outfit with new T-shirts, new socks, new wristbands, headbands. And they're really cool designs.
Yeah.
So those are selling like hotcakes. Look, pro wrestling fans and pro wrestling analysts are very fickle and finicky in the sense that they want what they want when they want it.
Sure.
The fans wanted this for so long.
Yeah.
They didn't get it when they wanted it. They wanted it, and the analysts are largely guilty of this. Your Dave Meltzer's, your Brian Alvarez's, Sean Ross Sapp's, all of them.
Sola Monster, he's another one who I really enjoy his content. I love listening to him, but he's another one. He's just bitching about this Cena
Yeah,
heel
yeah,
run.
they can shut the fuck up. And here's why. Point blank, you they wanted it when they wanted it. They wanted John Cena's final run to be like nice and wrapped up in a little package and a bow, a good farewell tour, and all of this sunshines and rainbows. But it isn't sunshines and rainbows. And the only argument I will listen to in this being a failure, and if they call it a failure because of this, it's wrong. I won't listen to it be called a failure for this reason. I'll listen to it was a misstep, but I won't call it a failure because of this. Um, is The Rock jump starting this heel run and then not being a part of it?
Yeah.
That's a misstep. That doesn't mean it's a failure.
Correct. I agree. Yes, I agree.
And I think like we look at everything black and white in this world of podcasting and dirt sheets and whatever the hell else. We don't look at it as there are layers to everything. You know, if you watched Stephanie's Place on ESPN Plus, they had John Cena on there, and he even played a heel on that. You know, because she asked him the inside story about his heel turn, and he said no comment, but want to thank you for being there and always having my back, and you know, just played it straight heel. And
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh, he's so monotone, because that's, again, you go back to his original promo right after this. He told us,
Yep.
you get nothing.
Yep. Yeah.
All he wants to do is ruin pro wrestling. and so no, he isn't going to give you the impassioned promos. He isn't going to give you the grandiose entrances. He isn't going to give us anything, and he hasn't given us anything.
Yeah.
So why are we sitting here bitching about it? You can sit like you can say, I wish there was more to it. I wish they gave us more. Okay, cool. But to sit here and call it a failure just because you don't like it or don't agree with it.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, dollars to donuts, if Vince McMahon were still in charge, most of these experts would be all over this. Oh, Vince has done it again. Vince has done this. Vince has done that.
I don't agree there. I don't agree there.
Absolutely, they would.
I disagree with you there.
Because
he's saying people have been shitting on Vince, and rightfully so, for a very long time. I don't think they'd say that.
Maybe you want to come up with a new terminology instead of shitting on in regards to Vince McMahon.
That's a very fair point.
Like, I was even going to say dumping on.
Poor choice of words.
Yeah.
They've been critical. They've been critical of Vince creatively
go.
for a long time. So no, I don't think they'd give him credit if he were still there.
I think they would give him more credit. They would give him the same amount of credit that they're criticizing Triple H of right now. And that's my opinion.
Yeah,
and
I disagree, but
I don't think they would be okay. Let me rephrase. They wouldn't be as critical as they are right now, because to them it's almost territorial. They think they think Triple H is tearing down the last vestige of what Vince built. Is my guess. Triple H is tearing down Vince's last guy, which was John Cena.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, Triple H couldn't tear down Hogan. Triple H couldn't tear down Austin. Triple H couldn't tear down. So he's going to tear down John Cena. Look, you can look at it like that, or you can look at the guys Triple H has built up.
Oh yeah,
and I guarantee you, if you look at it through those lenses, no booker is perfect. No booker is spot on every time. As a matter of fact, one of the greatest booking minds in our business, Jim Cornette, has had some misfires.
Oh, sure.
Every great booker has had misfires. And you can sit here all you want and say, oh, Triple H is doing this, Triple H is doing that. Like, I'm going to go a little bit into the weeds here. Triple H is ruining WWE with high ticket prices. That isn't Triple H, that's Endeavor and
Right.
TKO.
Right.
Triple H has nothing to do with that. WWE bailed on a city for WrestleMania. Again, it's being more run like a business than an entertainment company.
As the face of the company, Triple H inevitably takes the brunt of the criticism for, like you said, like things that he has no control over at all.
He doesn't. And people want to sit here and say, oh, I can't afford to take my family to WWE. You haven't been able to take your family to a baseball game for years, but you don't complain about that. You haven't been, it's getting more and more expensive. Take your family to the movies. You don't complain about that. My point is, you're complaining about this because it's something new to complain about.
Right.
Look, I have pretty much brushed off my bucket list ever going to seeing a Super Bowl or ever going to a WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. That's fine. So be it, because it's being run as a business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what it has to be run as now, because they're a corporation. They're not this family-run entity that WWF was under Vince.
Right. So it sounds like we're in agreement. I was hoping you were going to argue with me about it, because that's fun.
No, anytime you bring up the dirt sheets and them guys and what their opinions are, I almost am going to disagree out of the gate, because to quote Bruce Pritchard, they don't fucking know. They don't know shit. Like, Dave Meltzer's unnamed sources are the boys working him.
Oh, of course.
They don't know shit. Sean Ross Sapp doesn't know shit.
Well, it's no different than it's access journalism ultimately, right? Just like any other kind of, just like in politics, right? I mean, you write what they feed you, right? So you continue to have them as sources.
At some point, political journalists realize they're getting worked. Wouldn't Dave Meltzer know by now he's getting worked? I mean, the guy said Mabel was going to be the third man.
Yeah.
I mean, look at his misfires he has had. Sure. And yet there are people out there that not only subscribe to his newsletter, but pay extra to Patreon to get extra tidbits from him.
I know. Yeah, it seems like a waste of money. One other element to this, though, before we move on from Cena, because excuse me, one of the things that those who have been very critical of his heel run have been critical of, by the way, is his. Now, you and I disagree. I know we disagreed about his WrestleMania match.
That was
against Cody. You didn't like it. I actually liked it. But I don't think we've talked about, what did you think about his match with Randy Orton? Because this is another thing where they're dumping on Cena and saying he can't work. I thought their match at Backlash was actually very good, especially for a couple of guys in their mid to late 40s going in and working. I thought they put on a really good match.
There are certain times in this business where the crowd makes a match better than what it is.
Oh, yeah. It was a hot crowd. Yeah, it was a hot crowd.
And I really think that the crowd reaction made that match better than what it is. Look, here's the deal with John Cena right now. This is what we're going to get. This is not, I mean, I've come to terms with it. He has lost more than 2 steps in the ring. Mm-hmm. I am dreading this tag match next Saturday night.
Really?
Because it is by it. I think it's going to be a raging dumpster fire. Um, but I am very intrigued with Money in the Bank because I think we get a cash in at the end of the night.
Really?
I think we get a cash in at the end of the night.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to go out on a limb here? So our listeners have a week, actually 2 weeks to digest this before they rip on me.
I'm very curious. Yeah.
Seth Rollins wins Money in the Bank and cashes in on Jey Uso to end the night.
That would make sense. Actually, that would make sense.
My cousin Austin, we were talking last night, and Austin said he thinks Punk wins Money in the Bank and cashes in on Cena to end Money in the Bank.
That's
So,
intriguing.
Now, in Austin, if I misquoted you, I apologize, but I think that's the gist of it. I said it makes more sense to have it be Seth cashing in on Jay.
It does. It does.
Because there has not been a huge build to this June 9th match between Jay and Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether it's because Jay doesn't have the title or because Goldberg comes back and costs Gunther the match leading to their supposed match at SummerSlam or wherever is supposed to be Goldberg's retirement match. It's a rumor it's going to be at the next Saturday night's main event in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, I just think it makes too much sense to have Seth Rollins win Money in the Bank, cash in on Jey Uso to end it.
Now I can see it. Yeah, I can definitely see it.
Yeah, because it just makes too much sense. And I love CM Punk. He is.
Oh, me too.
I mean,
as you know,
it is between him and two guys in AEW, believe it or not, that are my favorites to watch right now.
Who in AEW is one of them? Will Ospreay?
No.
Oh, I'm surprised. Okay, well, because I love Will Ospreay.
Okay, three guys in AEW because I do have to include Will in that. MJF.
Yes.
And MJF and a guy that I think should be the AEW World Champion right now. It just kills me that he isn't because he should be. Swerve Strickland.
Oh yeah, he's amazing too. Yep, absolutely.
I mean, so yeah, those four guys. And I tell you what, if any of our listeners are not subscribed to MJF's Twitter, they need to because they are missing out. There's a guy this week who posted on Twitter, I was 330 pounds until I met MJF at a meet and greet, and he called me a stupid fat mark to my face.
Yeah.
That I lost weight. So thank you, MJF.
Oh, no kidding.
And he has a before and after, side by side. The before is him, really large, meaty MJF. And then the after is him, slim and svelte and shirtless, flexing. And MJF retweets it and adds, my philanthropy is not talked about enough.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. That's a very positive story because MJF obviously is a heel, but that's a very positive story. Yeah, that's cool.
Motivation can come in many forms.
Absolutely. Well, shall we move on to speaking of motivation? So, you were the first one to realize this when you brought it to my attention. Because I did not even know about this. By the way, so last week, the first thing I did after we got done was I showed Jenny, because she didn't know about it either. She'd never seen it. The video of at that time, a WWF event in 1986. I believe it was Madison Square Garden, correct?
Yes, it was.
And they had Sammy Hagar come into the ring, and they made a big deal announcing the lead singer of Van Halen, or as Gorilla Monsoon referred to him as commentary, the Van Halen group. Sammy Hagar, who it could not have been more clear that it was not Sammy Hagar. It was a Sammy Hagar impersonator of some sort. And you told the whole story behind it. But
I actually sent you the original recording of the story.
And you did. Yes, you did. So
I
So,
want you to. Did I think I missed some minor points on it, but I got the
oh
general
yeah,
gist.
yeah. And it's just amazing, by the way, that aired on television, or at least I assume it did because it was
It aired on
commentary
the MSG network.
on the MSG network. Okay. So, and the title of the video that I showed Jenny initially was WWF has no idea who Sammy Hagar is, because you watch this and it's so like the guy looks nothing like Sammy Hagar, but it's not a work. They thought that this was Sammy Hagar, and they bring him into the ring and he says
And
hello to the crowd.
Lord Alfred Hayes knows it isn't Sammy Hagar.
Yeah, he kind of sounds like he knows. And Gorilla, it also sounds a little bit skeptical in the commentary.
He sounds skeptical, but Gorilla being one of the greatest, one of the most underrated straight men ever, is just like, oh yeah. And Lord Alfred Hayes is like, what is this bullshit?
Yeah. Yeah. So you see the video and it's like, oh my God. And I'd never known until he brought this to my attention. So interesting turn of events here. So you actually called into, we'll go ahead and say his name, because otherwise
we're not on any like handcuffs here. We can say his name.
Oh yeah. So Crazy Joe, his given name, of course, Jose Martinez.
Yes.
He
may call the FBI on us though.
Yes. Well, I don't know if you know this, Eric, but ICE actually contacted me recently wanting to know if I had any information on Jose Martinez. But
well, they are trying to clear certain individuals out.
Yes, they are.
And it doesn't matter, Matt. You know why? You know why it doesn't matter?
Why?
Well, we're all gonna die.
Oh, that's right. Yes. According to Joni Ernst, we're all going to die.
We're all going to die someday.
That's right.
Doesn't matter. I was in the news.
Oh yes, congratulations, Iowa.
Thanks.
You called into the Crazy Joe Show podcast. He calls it internet radio, which a term we haven't used since 2013. But he still calls it that. But it's really a podcast. And he's doing his live podcast, and I tried to call in, but he won't take my call. But you called in and you confronted him because you, again, to your credit as a journalist, you got suspicious that the man in the video might actually have been a young Crazy Joe. It does kind of look like him. And Mr. Martinez got very defensive over this.
Very defensive, Matt. And, he never denied it.
Nope, he did not.
He diminished me, which hurt.
Yes.
He diminished my question.
Very hurtful.
Questioned my intelligence, which, Joe, many women have done that. You're not in any esteemed, audience questioning my intelligence, buddy. I'll have you know that right now. And then he accused me of doing certain things to you, and the call ended.
Yes.
I want to say I called being very professional. I was even very nice to him. I asked him how it was going, and he immediately started cussing at me.
Yes. He's very rude.
I was just like, where's the professional courtesy here?
Right.
Where is the, even though we're on different shows, and even though I'm, infinitely better at this than he is, and you as well.
Yes.
There should be a degree of professionalism. I could not rock that Dice shirt that he rocked, though.
No.
I have a bit more self-respect than that. Anyway, I went ahead and went to some of my people, Matt. This is breaking news here. I know some people in the pro wrestling business.
Yes.
And they have requested to remain nameless in this.
Yes.
They said, keep our names off this. But they have said that they have it on good authority that Jose Martinez's face is still hanging up in the MSG box office Do not let this man enter, because he is the fake Sammy Hagar.
Right. By the
I
way,
mean,
for those watching, you can see. So there he is. I'm showing the video
Even
for,
does
I
the
apologize to our
hand thing.
audio listeners, but that does look like him, doesn't it?
Go back to the hand thing, Matt. If we think back to the great monumental rock band that is Mailbox Dog, when they appeared on a public access TV show, that's the same pose one
Yes.
Crazy Joe did on stage. When
Yes.
concluding their number one hit,
I started the
Heaven's
video
Door.
over because I think yeah. You look here. I mean, that looks like guy looks short. This little dude. Crazy Joe is a little dude.
It's a little
I mean, he's
guy.
rotund, but he's short.
I mean,
That's
he's
totally
a little
him.
rotund there. That is.
Yeah.
That is. And my
That's
wrestling
that's
sources
totally him.
have. My wrestling sources, Matt, have said that yes, that it is one Jose Martinez.
Yep. I believe it. Well, so I have something to share too, regarding
boy.
that. So I'm sorry. Oh,
Oh,
whoops,
I
let me
just said,
clear
oh
that
boy,
out.
I can't wait.
I have,
can't wait to
I
hear it.
also, well, yeah, as you know, so I work in the music industry and I have a lot of connections.
Yes.
I know Crazy Joe thinks I've never even been to New York City, but obviously I have. So I have connections in the music industry who have told me that in fact, and one individual in particular, and if I said this person's name, you would immediately recognize it. So this is a trustworthy, reliable individual with great credibility, but I've been asked not to reveal their name because they don't want to get mixed up in this. But someone has told me, someone who was there that night has told me that yes, a man named Jose Martinez was in fact masquerading as Sammy Hagar at Madison Square Garden that night at that event.
You know, Matt, I think this is our chance to offer a place of refuge, a place of mercy. Jose, I'm looking directly in the camera because I'm peering into your soul, Jose.
Ooh, really? Why would you do
clean,
that?
Jose. Unburden yourself of this. It has to be weighing on you to know that for many years, you tricked the late great Adrian Adonis, Bret Hart, and others into thinking you were Sammy Hagar. Just come clean. If anything, Jose, it might help your burgeoning internet radio career.
Yes, I think it would.
He might go from 10 listeners to 20 listeners.
Maybe he could even get Sammy Hagar on his podcast. And the reason I'm thinking that is, his internet radio show. And the reason I'm thinking that is, I don't know if you know about this, Eric, but in the early 90s, there was an episode of the Phil Donahue Show that Peter Criss appeared on, but it started with, there was a Peter Criss impersonator who was really a homeless guy who had a big problem, but who was claiming to be Peter Criss. And Tom Arnold actually fell for it and thought it was his old friend Peter Criss and took him in and gave him money and a place to stay and everything. And then it turned out to not be Peter Criss. And so on the Donahue Show, and by the way, I'm not making any of this up. It's on YouTube.
No, you're not. I've seen it.
You've seen it. Yeah. On the Donahue Show, they had the real Peter Criss come out and confront the guy because this impersonator made a lot of trouble for the real Peter Criss. So what I'm saying is maybe, just maybe, Sammy Hagar would like to appear on the Crazy Joe Show internet radio program and confront Crazy Joe about all the trouble that he's caused him.
Maybe they could wear matching Dice t-shirts with an Anka pendant.
What also maybe they could do is wear matching Zubaz pants.
Yeah, there we go.
You know,
There we go. It could be a uniting moment for these two.
yeah.
Maybe Sammy could pay to fix his teeth.
Oh, that'd be nice. Well, Sammy's got the money.
Yeah.
Sammy is filthy rich.
Yes.
yes. So there you have it. So we again, and by the way, look, anyone listening to this who is skeptical because we can't reveal our sources, I don't blame you for being skeptical. You don't have to believe us, but
no, you don't.
But we know the truth, and it's him, and he ought to just come clean. It's been what, 40 years? I think he can come clean and just admit that it was him.
Yes. You know, if you're going to question the fact that we cannot reveal our sources, I'm going to say this to the people. How many news articles have you read that say unnamed sources and you believed them?
Right. People speak on background all the time.
It's journalistic integrity that if your sources say, please do not reveal, you do not reveal them.
Right.
And because I know people in the business and want to keep knowing people in the business, I won't reveal my sources, but they are very credible. They are trustworthy, as yours in the music business is as well, Matt. So yes, I just think, Joe, Jose, it might help you just unburden yourself, like Brett and Sean did of their animosity. Drop the facade.
Yeah.
Just come out and say, I am the fake Sammy Hagar.
He might as well.
Yeah, because we got you dead to rights, Jose.
I mean, look, my source, I mean, it's not like it's not Tommy Mottola, but it's like one level below Tommy Mottola status in the music industry. Very, very close.
I mean, you know what? I might have to look into this. I just thought of this. One guy in that match, Dan Spivey, is very big on the pro wrestling indie circuit doing appearances. I might have to show Dan, because he actually shook Sammy's hand before the match.
Yes.
A side by side. I might have to see when Dan's going to be in the Midwest, or even go to my sources and say, hey, do you have a way I can contact Dan Spivey and see if we can get him on the show?
Could we dust his hands for fingerprints and run some sort of DNA check against?
I think 40 years is a bit too much.
Oh, okay.
I think Dan Spivey has washed his hands once or twice since then.
That's a good point. He's probably used hand sanitizer and the whole deal.
Yep, okay, especially after shaking Jose's hand.
Yes, if you shake the hand of Jose Martinez, you're going to want to clean those.
Hairy knuckles.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh boy. All right.
Yeah, no doubt. But yes, Jose, we got you.
Should we put a deadline on this? He has 48 hours to fess up, or we're going to contact the FBI.
You know what? Yes. And furthermore, he has 48 hours. Before I contact Madison Square Garden.
I am considering contacting the New York State Police about this matter.
Yeah, absolutely. This is fraud and misrepresentation. And Sammy Hagar, all he's ever done and all he's ever wanted to do is not drive in 55. That's all. And Joe, Jose, you've taken that away from him.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So Jose Martinez, you have 48 hours to come clean.
48 hours.
Yeah.
And I tell you what,
not 49, 48.
The MSG ticket office is probably going to be very sad after the Knicks are eliminated tonight. So they're going to have a lot of free time on their hands, buddy. We've cracked the case.
I'm ready, by the way, to text my contact at because I saved the phone number, my contact at the New York State Police. But anyway, all right, so we should move on from that.
Yes.
But excuse me, my allergies are just terrible. So what else is in the news for the undercard? Of course, Vince McMahon. He's got a new company. Should we talk about that? 14th and I.
And then we could talk about who most assuredly will not be working for that company.
Yeah. What do you think Vince is up to with this new? I listened to Cornette talking about this. Talking about how Vince is an 80-year-old man. What is his problem? Why is he starting this now? You know, why doesn't he just relax?
Well, Jonathan Coachman has added fuel to the fire by saying he believes he has said he knows Vince is interested in buying WWE again from TKO and Endeavor. And everyone's running with this that Vince is going to buy it back. In order for a company to be bought, there has to be two parties, one willing to buy and one willing to sell. TKO and Endeavor, they are not going to sell WWF. They are not. I mean, with the many city takeovers they have set up with WWE, NXT, and UFC hosting events in one city over a weekend, that ain't gonna happen. Not happening. So that's over. Right. I think Vince has some illusions of grandeur that he might be able to start a pro wrestling startup, which I don't think there's enough room for it right now. You look at the TV time that is being consumed already with pro wrestling, he would have to buy Impact or MLW, and he would have to find a TV network that would be willing to air them, a national network. That isn't going to happen because no TV network is going to touch anything Vince McMahon touches right now.
Right. Right.
So I think Vince wants to be in the business somehow, some way, and this is his way to do it. I think it will be a gross, unmitigated failure up there with WWE films. I think it won't be the failure the XFL was both times, but it'll be up there with the World Bodybuilding Federation.
Yeah, but do you think he's trying to get back into? He's doing this to actually get back into wrestling, or are there other projects that he's going to fund? I find it hard to believe that he actually is going to start some sort of a wrestling promotion.
Look, what I know about Vince McMahon, and it's just things I've read and hearing interviews, reading interviews. He's a very, very grudge happy person. Vince, I guarantee you, has some grudge with Triple H, Stephanie, TKO. If there is
for casting him out,
if there is a way for him to with this company get back into the wrestling business, he will definitely run with it. Even if, and I just had this thought, he gets involved with RAF.
The Real American Freestyle Hogan's
yes.
thing.
Yeah, even if it's that, I think Vince would jump at the opportunity because he wants to say, damn it, pal, look at me. And it's you almost wish he would just ride off into the sunset at this point, because you're sitting here and you're like, this is disgusting, and what you're accused of, and He's just acting like it's another day for him.
Well, do you think he just can't ride off into the sunset? Is it because what, we've learned a lot about Vince McMahon and some of them, geez, I wish I didn't know, but do you think it's even possible for him to just ride off into the sunset? Because my impression is that the way his brain is wired, he can't do that. Like he literally just cannot do that. He has to keep going. And then until his dying breath, he's going to have this drive and this ambition that propels him in some direction, whether or not it's to success or failure.
I think a lot of it is, what else does he have? You look at it in his drive and ambition, we'll call it. He has lost his wife. He has lost his brothers. He has lost his daughter. He's lost his son. He's lost his grandchildren. He's lost his son-in-law. He's lost the business he built. In a way, he's lost the professional wrestling empire he's built. So what else does he have left?
Well, that's true. But if he can't help himself, he can't help himself.
That's what I'm saying, that him being so empty and so void of anything else, he has to do this.
Yeah. So what do you think? Well, I guess that's a good segue, right? I mean, we've got this new, John Laurinaitis, or Johnny Ace, or John Laryngitis, as I've heard him referred to. I think you might have called him that. Has basically rolled over on him, right? Is no longer cooperating with Vince legally in this investigation.
Johnny Ace has become Johnny the Bull. Man, look, I'm so conflicted on this. One, John Laurinaitis, and this is Eric Pilcher editorializing here. John Laurinaitis is a cowardly piece of shit. And here's why. If John Laurinaitis had this sudden urge to do the right thing, and he was such a victim, he should have done this when they were still investigating Vince for criminal charges. What? Why
go
wait?
ahead, Eric. I'm sorry.
Why wait until now when all that's left is civil?
Right.
Yeah, you're avoiding having to pay out money and you're going to do a private settlement. Cool. But if you were so big into helping this woman, or clearing your name and showing what an evil person Vince McMahon is, why not do it when they were investigating him for criminal charges?
Right.
I'm sure this woman's attorneys would have worked out a deal with you then. The same deal you got. And the feds probably would have piggybacked onto that and said, hey, we'll give you a great deal of immunity. Like, you're probably going to be on probation and you might have to register as a sex offender, but we're going to let you live your life.
Yeah.
And we're going to let you keep your money. Well, thank you and good luck on your future endeavors. But yeah, look, John Laurinaitis is an asshole, and this is probably the most cowardly thing he's done. And there are many, many more cowardly things he's done. This takes the cake.
I can't think of. I'm trying to think. Obviously, I've listened to a lot of wrestling podcasts over the years, and a lot has been said about John Laurinaitis. I mean, I don't mean about these about what's going on currently. I mean, just in the past, how he's dealt with people and how he's done his job and whatnot when he was head of talent relations and all of that. I can't anything has ever said about the guy. I literally can't think of anything, because there's a lot of people in wrestling who, some people like, some people don't like, some people have a lot of detractors, but there's at least a few people who like them. Some people are who are generally beloved, but there's a couple of people who have a problem with this individual. In the case of John Laurinaitis, who likes John Laurinaitis? Like, nobody.
I don't even think his own. I don't. People, you can flame me if you want. I don't care. I don't even think his own brother really liked him.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, the guy. What
we should clarify that, Eric, for people who don't know who his brother is.
His brother is the late Road Warrior Animal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Joe Laurinaitis. I don't think Shane Douglas likes him, and they were a tag team.
Yeah.
In
the
WCW.
dynamic feuds. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the skateboards that Laurinaitis never even rode. They'd carry them to the ring. Oh God.
I think he rode a scooter once and almost rode it off the ramp.
Yeah.
Because WCW had that elevated ramp to the ring.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that happened. But yeah. Look, he tried to bully Teddy Long, and he bullied a great deal of people backstage. And kudos to Teddy Long. I read an excerpt of him on a podcast earlier this week, and he really took the high road on this.
Yeah.
He called John Laurinaitis a gutless coward, which he is, and said that he's a piece of garbage, which he is, but he didn't shed any details. He didn't outright try to bury the guy.
Yeah.
And probably Teddy Long certainly has the juice to do so.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to speak his mind about how he feels about people.
But yeah, John Laurinaitis, I don't know. This whole thing, I keep thinking, why not do it earlier? If you're such a victim, why not do it when the criminal charges were being investigated?
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't shock me if Vince paid him to do it.
Really?
Hey, pal. I'll give you $10 million. You take the fall for this. Because think about it. These two instances were announced really hand in hand. 14 and I, Vince's new company, and John Laurinaitis. So I'm going a little conspiracy theorist here. But yeah, I could see it.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So that excuse me, my allergies. So that story continues. I guess there's not much more to say about that. Should we move on to the main event?
Yeah. Yes, we certainly can.
Bret the Hitman Hart, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
Just probably not so much in this era.
Yeah. I intentionally put up a picture of how we like best to remember Bret. But yes. So, of course, the first week in part one, we talked about Bret's first big run in WWE, and then in week two, we talked about his move to WCW, and now we're talking about his reclamation, if you will, when he came back to WWE. We did talk somewhat last week about his reconciliation with the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. And we did actually, we talked about this era somewhat too, about, I expressed some strong feelings about how much I loathe Bret's match with Vince at WrestleMania, how awful I thought it was. But I don't think we got too far into much else about that. Oh, and we did talk about him as general manager when he was Raw general manager, a role that he was not well suited for, clearly.
No. he wasn't. I mean, look, I thought it was there. One, to grade this with all of Brett's prior work is not fair to Brett. One, he had cashed out his Lloyd's of London insurance policy, so he couldn't take bumps.
Right.
He couldn't be in a wrestling match per se. So any match he was in, he would have to be carried in.
Mm-hmm.
Or they would have.
I'm amazed, by the way, and I felt this at the time too. I'm amazed that he could even get away with doing as much as he did. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he couldn't take bumps, but there's still a risk of something happening. You know what I mean? It seems risky to me to do anything.
I think the biggest risk was the match with McMahon, because Vince is not a worker.
Right.
And if Vince did get some offense in that match.
Yeah.
I mean, Vince stiffs him and hits him in the head. Holy crap, what could happen?
Right. Yeah. What haven't we discussed already about his
we haven't discussed his US title reign.
Yeah, and I remember I did not like that either.
No, that was not good.
No.
What the match was just, man, it could have passed as a late 90s WCW match, just with the run-ins in it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it was painful.
I don't even remember much about it. It was against The Miz, right? He won it from The Miz.
I think the goal here was to write The Miz off TV for one reason or another.
Okay.
There are just far better options and far better ways to do it.
Yes.
Than what they did. I mean, man.
What did they do? How much do you remember about it? Because for some reason, it's like a blur, probably a repressed memory because it was painful to watch.
April 28th, basically The Miz had lost a match that guaranteed a WWE United States Championship match to a Hart family member of his choosing.
Okay.
He chose Brett.
Okay.
And on the May 17th episode of Raw, Hart defeated The Miz to win his 5th United States Championship. On the May 24th episode, Hart was named the new general manager of Raw. His first orders included vacating his U.S. Championship, which R-Truth won, and setting up qualifying matches for Fatal 4-Way.
Okay.
The next week, he declared a viewer's choice. He was attacked by NXT rookies after firing Wade Barrett and declining to offer them a contract. A week later, McMahon fired Brett as general manager for failing to control the rookies.
Okay.
Now he actually main evented another pay-per-view, Matt.
Who did? Brett did?
Yes, he did.
I don't remember.
Hart returned 5 weeks later, where it was announced by John Cena that he, the Great Khali, R-Truth, Edge, Chris Jericho, John Morrison, and Bret Hart would face the Nexus at SummerSlam.
That's right. I remember.
The following week, Hart teamed with Cena to wrestle SummerSlam teammates Edge and Chris Jericho to a no contest. In the SummerSlam main event, he was disqualified for using a steel chair on Skip Sheffield, also known as Ryback.
Yes.
His team ultimately won the match.
Yeah. So a Pyrrhic victory of sorts.
He
Was that it? Was that his?
No,
Was that his
he
last
was
match?
scheduled to face Justin Gabriel in a match, but Jesus Christ, was unable to compete after the anonymous Raw general manager, citing his disdain for Hart, removed him from the match and replaced him with Randy Orton, which led to one of the greatest RKOs ever when Randy Orton RKO Justin Gabriel out of midair.
Oh yes, that I remember. That was cool.
Yes. Yeah, he did a couple other things. In November 2010, Hart's WWE contract had expired.
Okay. And then that was it. And then did he sign a Legends deal after that?
Yes, he is. He does have a Legends deal.
Okay. All right. So that was it. Now he's come back for the Hall of Fame, obviously.
He came back for an episode of Tough Enough in 2011 at Over the Limit. Hart came in support of rival Jerry Lawler, forcing Michael Cole to kiss Lawler's foot. And then the following night on Raw, Hart refereed the main event, which saw John Cena and Rey Mysterio defeat R-Truth and CM Punk with Hart's assistance. And also, another key thing about Bret is he was there the night Jerry Lawler had a heart attack.
Oh, he was?
Yes, he was. He had the promo that ended the show with CM Punk, John Cena, and him. And all three of them have been largely given credit for saving that episode of Raw.
Okay.
Because, yeah, if you remember, Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth now, did several hard elbows to Lawler.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And I don't blame Nemeth for that. You don't. I firmly believe some people backstage did, and that's what really hindered his career in WWE.
Well, I do believe that it's very possible that that's what triggered the heart attack, but I don't believe that makes it his fault. I mean, he had no way of knowing. You couldn't possibly predict that.
No.
So, yeah.
No, I think it's gross, but I do think that is what officially derailed his career in WWE.
No, interesting.
I mean, yes, he did get a world title run after it, but he was never looked at as going to be the guy.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because he should be.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. 100%. Okay.
And I believe, and I could be wrong, I think Jerry Lawler has held a grudge with him.
Yeah, probably.
On it that doesn't help his standing in any stretch. Look, if you're over the age of 50 and you're in the shape of guys like Jerry Lawler and Ric Flair and even Bret Hart, who is in great shape given the health issues he's had and his age. When I met him, you probably shouldn't be in the ring with these young guys anyway.
Yeah.
I think that, sometimes it's so easy to point the finger at the lowest man on the totem pole in pro wrestling when something goes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
When you should point it at the person who planned the match. Like, why is Jerry Lawler in a match with Dolph Ziggler?
Right. Yeah, I think that's fair. So what else? What are we missing from this last run? Anything?
I mean, nothing much. There isn't a lot. I mean, I do believe that Bret gave his best effort. I mean,
Mhm.
he was honored May 27th, 2013, uh, with a Bret Hart Appreciation Night.
Mhm. Oh, I remember
Uh,
that.
sh-
Yep.
yeah, and Shawn Michaels said, "Thank you for being the Superman to my Lex Luthor."
Yep. Yep.
And that was awesome.
Yeah.
Have a lot of respect for Sean for that.
Yep.
Um, and he did do a great deal of appearances, for WWE. I think Brett's kind of at a place where he's not going to come anytime he's called. He's going to come if he's called and it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like when he cornered Natalia uh, in the NXT Women's Championship finals between Natalia and Charlotte Flair.
Yes.
And Charlotte had Rick in her corner.
That's right. Yes.
That was awesome. That made perfect sense. And credit to Brett and Rick because they did these interviews that, Brett said something like, you look at all the times Flair has been in the ring with a Hart, and it usually ends with the Flair tapping out to the sharpshooter.
Right.
And Ric Flair's like a heartbeat of Flair. That would never happen.
Yeah.
And but they didn't make the match about them. They did subtle things outside the ring that let you know they were there.
Yeah.
But Natty and Charlotte, that is probably my favorite Charlotte Flair match of all time.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Is the match she had with Natty. And Natty is such an undervalued talent.
I just found something else that was actually kind of recent that we haven't mentioned. I'm going to try to get this on the screen here.
Oh, the stuff with him and Gunther and Sami Zayn.
Yes. I thought this was. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I thought this was pretty good actually. That when Gunther when Gunther hit him with that line, my favorite wrestler is Bill Goldberg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
I thought that was pretty good, and
also, and the thing is again, I think Brett is at a time and place where if it makes sense to him, he'll do it. He isn't just going to willy-nilly do anything. Like, you're not going to bring him out there and have him and be like, hey, go cut a shoot promo on Triple H. Why? That doesn't make sense. Okay.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure he would.
Yeah.
I don't think you would have to ask Brett twice to cut a shoot promo on Paul Levesque.
Right.
But
oh, we should because like we were saying, there isn't that much to that.
No, there really isn't
part of Brett's career, but we should talk about because we haven't talked about it in any detail, right? When you met Bret Hart.
Yes. Oh man. When I met Brett, it was at First Wrestling. They're a Minnesota-based indie wrestling promotion. It was at a casino in Red Wing, Minnesota. I mean, always being a fan of his and never having the chance to meet him. I went there 2 hours early and I sat there and just waited and waited and waited. And
oh, that's a nice looking belt.
And yeah, I met him and gotta tell him, I was shaking when I got up there, and I don't get starstruck. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I've interviewed NFL Hall of Famers, actual UFC fighters, George St. Pierre, Brock Lesnar, Kenny Florian. Um, so, but I was legitimately starstruck, and I got to tell him some pretty deeply personal stuff. Like, growing up, you were my hero.
Hmm.
And I told him, I'm like, though, because the one thing I could always count on is that Brett the Hitman Hart would never let me down.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he looked at me and he goes, I never wanted to let you down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man. And so I brought this winged eagle replica with me to the show.
Nice.
And in the picture of him and I, this is the one he's holding.
Oh,
He had the actual one that he carried to the ring with him, but this one is the one he held in the picture. And
okay.
on the back, it is
Oh, wow.
signed by Brett with "Best there is, best there was, best there ever will be." And I
Oh,
told him,
wow.
thank you for being my hero. And he said, thank you for letting me be your hero.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. I'm looking for that. I thought I had it on this. I
But
thought I
yeah,
had it on this computer.
he was awesome. Just so nice and spent time with everyone. And to meet him, it was like $120
Oh, no kidding.
to get his autograph and picture with him.
Yeah.
No, a hundred.
And that's
Yeah,
on
it
your
was a,
Facebook page for people who want to
yup.
see it. Is that still your profile pic?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easily, like, I've met Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Tetsuya Naito, Christopher Daniels, Matt Taven, CM Punk, Samoa Joe.
Oh, you've met a
Uh,
lot of guys. Yeah.
yeah. Um, Unfortunately, Ric Flair. Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
You've
I've
mentioned
had
that.
I growing up I had three heroes. Bret the Hitman Hart, William Shatner, and Ric Flair. They say never meet your heroes. 2 out of 3 prove that wrong. But
yeah.
one of them, yup,
There's the
yep, there it
picture.
is.
Yeah.
And a funny story, the belt got caught on his sleeve
Oh, really?
as I was trying to pull it away.
Oh,
I'm
no
like, oh,
kidding.
yeah, I felt like such a tool. And he just smiled at me and said, thank you.
Oh, that's funny. No, that is very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, one of my favorite, it is my favorite autograph that I have. And I have some pretty awesome autographs, I like to say. Orson Welles, Robert De Niro, Sylvester Stallone, Bret Hart is my favorite
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool.
because
Good,
of the
good for
story
you.
associated with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Okay. Very cool. Anything else to say about Brett?
Um, yeah, just it's cliche, but best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. I I think that that is the best way you could say anything about Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yeah.
Um, just everything he gave to the business, and you look at the guys that he helped make better, and the guys that say he made them better.
Hmm.
Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, uh who's who, Scott Hall, Undertaker, Ric Flair. I mean, guys that say, yeah, and you look at what he overcame,
Hmm.
stigma. I mean, he's not a big guy, he is short, but everything he did, it just in that ring was so believable.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I mean, his, I would, I don't have an issue saying this. I don't think there is an individual that has given more to the business than Bret the Hitman Hart.
Okay.
Um, he gave us, directly or indirectly,
Yeah.
gave us Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels and DX, Mr. McMahon. You probably wouldn't have the Attitude Era if you remove Bret Hart from the equation. I don't think the Attitude Era happens.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
And even people bash his WCW run, and you can only do so much with what you're given.
Yes.
And Eric Bischoff, as smart as he was, when he had Brett, he was starting to fight a lot of battles.
Mm-hmm.
And there he had some guys booking that didn't know how to book a Bret Hart, and it's unfortunate. Because there are so many great rivalries he could have had in
Mm-hmm.
WCW. Him and DDP could have been great.
Oh,
Him and
yeah.
Savage could have had a great run. Him and
Yes.
Flair. Him and even I don't want to say him and Hogan, because Hogan would have to be willing to give,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not going to work for me, brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you really look at the annals of pro wrestling history, you're not going to find a guy that has a fingerprint on more of this business than Bret the Hitman Hart.
Well, it's like Bret said recently in an interview. If you look at the guys wrestling today, they don't wrestle like Hulk Hogan. They wrestle like Bret Hart. And he's right.
That they said it perfectly, and he's absolutely right. They don't play to the crowd. They chain wrestle. You have to be able to throw a headlock. You can't just rely on look and charisma.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, and I think that if certain grudges were able to be put away, Brett could give so much more to the business.
Yeah.
So much more.
Yeah.
Like whether it NXT or WWE. I mean, he offered AEW. He asked to be an agent for them and was turned down. That should tell you all you need to know about the intelligence of Tony Khan.
Well, how would that even work, though, if he's got a Legends deal with WWE?
This is before he signed the Legends deal.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yup.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, they had a loose agreement, but it wasn't an ironclad Legends deal. His deal, every Legends deal has certain language put into it.
Yeah, of course.
I believe Brett can opt out of his Legends deal at any point in time if he gets an offer somewhere else.
Oh, okay. Interesting. No, that's a pretty sweet deal then.
I mean, I think quite a few Legends have that.
Oh, interesting.
Jake the Snake is under AEW contract, and he still gets WWE checks.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Ric Flair. I don't know if Rick still has a Legends deal.
Yeah, who knows?
But so I mean, Legends deals are there to give back to those that gave so much to the business.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it should be. They shouldn't be handcuffed to WWE. Certainly, I don't think AEW could release a Bret Hart action figure.
Right. No, I'm sure they couldn't.
So yeah, but I think a lot of Bret is. I think he wants to give back to the business more than he does, but people have to allow it.
Mm-hmm.
And in some instances, Bret has to maybe let some things go that might be hard for him to let go.
Yeah. Yep. Very good. Very good. Well, should we
Just
put
like just like someone else who should let go of something, being finally owning up to being the fake Sammy Hagar.
That's right. Crazy Joe needs to finally own up to his deception and his
Yes.
subterfuge.
And his coke usage.
I don't know anything about that.
I mean, it's in the story. This person did coke.
Well,
with Adrian Adonis and Jim the Anvil. And that's when Jim the Anvil Neidhart popped and said, that is Sammy Hagar. When Sammy did a line of blow, well, the fake Sammy did a line of blow and his nose started bleeding.
Right. Yes, that is part of the story. Oh boy. Well, should we talk about next week? What the main event is next week?
Are we finally going to do this episode, or is there going to be another switch here?
No, I think we're finally going to. But I can't remember what we discussed. It was something about a rivalry. What rivalry was it?
We are,
or as someone we know likes to pronounce it, rivalry.
Rivalry. Our first rivalry we're covering on the show.
He has a speech impediment, to be fair.
Your top guy.
Yes.
Macho Man Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan.
Aha.
Looking at her with lust in your eyes. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
I remember being nearly 6 years old and having to ask my aunt what lust in someone's eyes was.
Oh, did she tell you? How did she handle that?
Shut up.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's what.
Looking back at it, how do you explain to a 6-year-old what?
No. I remember being a kid and watching a sitcom and the word horny showed up in the show. And I remember asking my stepmother, what does horny mean? And she's like, that's a grown-up word. As she was sitting there knitting angrily because she was angry a lot and she would just knit furiously scarves and things. She's like, that's a grown-up word.
Maybe it was the scarf to wrap around your neck, Matt.
It probably was, because to this day, I don't know. Was she angry that I asked her an uncomfortable question, or was she just bothered that I was attempting to interact with her in some way? But while she was knitting,
I mean, at least it was your stepmom. My real mother acts that way. I shouldn't laugh about it, but what are you going to do?
You got to laugh. That's the best.
Yeah.
Best
what are you
therapy,
going to do
right?
at this point? Like,
yeah, it's better to laugh. It's better to laugh. Well, very good. So next week, the rivalry of,
I mean, and I think that this could be a two-parter because they had a rivalry in WWE, WWF, and then they had one in WCW, and it never made sense when they would face off, because it's like 1 week they would be cool, and then the next week we're building towards a feud, and the match never happened.
Yeah, it would have been nice if there'd been a little more consistency in storytelling, but alas, there was not.
Yes. So we have covered a lot of ground today.
Yes.
I feel good about this.
I do too. Episode 6 in the books. Shall we sign off?
Yeah, everyone, have a good week. Be happy, be healthy, be safe. Crazy Joe, it is time to repent.
Yes.
It is time for you to lower your burden that has to be on your shoulders. We have you figured out. 48 hours. It is 4:35 Eastern time. 48 hours, Joe. I'm clean.
All right. Very good. That concludes episode 6 of Tough Bumps. We'll see you all next week for episode 7. Thanks, Eric.
See you. Yep. Thank you.
Tough bumps we take, we rise again. Blood and grit, it's how we begin. Matt and Eric fire up the flame. Wrestling lives on the Tough Bumps name.